I sure as hell hope so, George. She's been planning and researching this trip for years, our little pilgrimage. And Santa Cova Chapel here was the cherry on the cake. Not a thing she don't know about this place. Madonna, blah, blah, blah. Chapel built in, yada, yada, yada. She's Santa Cova's very own walking encyclopedia. Well, weeping encyclopedia, I should say.
What have you been up to since we last met in Claramonte?
Well, there was that little sideshow in Rome, but we can't talk about that. You know why, George.
I do? I do.
Why?
Top secret.
Need to know, Nico. Duane is, snoozer.
Don't you mean a sleeper?
No way, honey. A snoozer's at least 2 pay grades up from a sleeper. So I hear. Anyway, I don't believe I've had the pleasure, Miss,
Nicole Collar. Call me Nico.
Well, how's about that? So this is the beautiful Nico. No wonder you've been hiding her away from me, Georgie boy.
Gosh, no,
It's lovely to finally meet you too, Mr. Henderson. George has told me so much about you.
Oh, call me Duane, my dear. And let me assure you of one thing. Everything you've heard is quite possibly true.
Duane was loud, large, and short-sighted, but boy was he a charmer. So what brings you to Santa Cova?
Pearl's idea from the get-go. Ever since the unfortunate car accident back home, she's been scouring those pilgrimage brochures. Gotta be full of wonder and life-changing imagery. Got to have penance potential. Got to offer a real spiritual experience.
Well, I'm sure this place will be very spiritual once it's finished.
If the chapel is not what she expected, how about the monastery?
Hot dog, no. That place is for tourists, not pilgrims.
You said she expected a spiritual experience?
No, that's what the brochure promised. Pilgrimages, little monk fellas, singing, shafts of light, the whole shebang.
Smells, bells, and heavenly lights.
Yeah, that's what the lady wanted. Oh, excuse me. Pearl needs me. There, dear.
Pearl could be a mine of information about the chapel if we could just cheer her up. A statue of the Madonna and Child watched over the chapel. An empty, coffee-stained mug had been left by the altar. I sprayed the shavings with Brett. Delightful. I put the scented shavings in the mug. I lit the scented shavings. A sweet aroma started to fill the room. I lit the candles on the candelabra. I rested the side mirror precariously on the candelabra. I secured the mirror in place with some yarn. Now that was something. The light from the candelabra spilled over the black Madonna like waves of spiritual goodness in candle form. It produced a dull sound when I rapped my knuckle against it. The hammer produced a promising sound. B, if I wasn't mistaken.
What are you up to?
Look, I made a Churchenspiel. It was rickety scaffolding cluttered with tools and supplies. Well, that was fun. It produced a dull sound. It produced a dull sound. The hammer produced a promising sound. A. That sounded like an A. B. Wrong. Well, that was fun. I poured the turpentine into the paint can. The hammer produced an F sharp. G. G. That wasn't it. G. F sharp. G. B. A. G. I had it. It was the tune Duane was humming.
Georges, that's Ave Maria. Let me have a go.
Wow, you really nailed that, Nico.
Yep, this mop really is pretty special. Leave this to me.
Pumpkin? Oh my!
What?
The sound of angels, the lights of heaven, the smell of piety, and
Yes?
the Madonna, I do believe. Tears. She's crying, Duane! The Madonna's crying. Little Timmy. Wrong side of the road. Not my fault. The broken leg. Compensation claim. Forgive me, poor Timmy.
Oh, Pearl, my precious, you're such a sensitive soul.
Well, now that's done. I feel my soul's floating on air. We can get on with our pilgrimage, Duane.
Just another 1,000 clicks to go.
Pearl was back to her usual cheery self.